yeah.
Talk whack to me, talk whack to me,
yeah.
Talk whack to me, talk whack
It's
to me.
the Whackcast podcast, yeah.
Talk whack to me, talk whack to me,
yeah.
Talk whack to me, talk whack to me. Whoa, 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 ho, ho, ho. What is up, black people? Yes, yes, yes. I hope everything's amazing for you all as always. I am your host, the Honorable OCT Octavius Haye, and this is the Whackcast podcast. All right, man, we ready to talk whack today, but before we go ahead with that, for the YouTube people, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you are notified every time we drop a new video on this channel. And for my podcast streamers on Spotify, at Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, make sure you follow us so you know every time a new podcast episode is uploaded. So with that being said, you ready to talk whack to them? Go ahead, let's talk whack to them. Okay, so I guess I want to start with something I really wasn't expecting to talk about, but it came out yesterday, and that was the Whackcast. I'm sorry, not the Whack. I'm the Whackcast, right? That was, I guess the Wack was in it. The Wack father was in it. DJ Akademiks podcast came out. We had Hassan Campbell on there, Wack 100, and of course 6ix9ine, and they were just. I guess it kind of started with them talking about 6ix9ine snitching, and then I don't know where it went. I think somewhere along the way, there was a little too much weed and too much drink, and it kind of just descended into, I don't know what they was talking about. Talking about, it sounds like he a millionaire, talking about 6ix9ine and bigging him up, and I don't know what was going on. It was a really, really weird interview. Like, as it goes further and further, you can tell they were getting a little bit more and more lit. And it's just kind of going all off the rails. Academic keep talking about how he's not a street dude. I think Wack was the only one who was sober because he don't drink or smoke. So, like, he kind of was being a little bit more coherent, but he was just, after a while, he was just kind of following whatever they was talking about, just going on to whatever narrative they was talking, he was just following along with that. But it was kind of weird. But what I'm seeing from this, it's not really sparking any real conversations. I know that 6ix9ine is he gonna come back. He just dropped his new song on Friday, passed on the 15th of April, and I don't know. I mean, they're saying he's doing big numbers, but I think people just don't care no more. I think he's gonna be one of them artists who just stay big on the side. Like, he don't really affect the culture anymore, but he stay big on the side, because I listened to it and I got entertainment out of it just because how lit they was and how they was just going every which way, not really staying on a real topic. But when you really, back in the day when 6ix9ine would have said something, the whole world would have been talking about. There would have been memes about it. Everybody would have had a comment on it. You would have been all on YouTube. People would have been talking about it all day. All through your timeline would have been something. Now, it's like, yeah, it was mentioned because it was news, but all right, now on to the rest of our day. So 6ix9ine's already got the cop out saying that he's been blackballed by the industry and you can't compare him to other rappers. They get put on the playlist and they get all the special treatment. He don't get all that, so his numbers, you can't compare his numbers. So he already getting his cop out if he flops. But I mean, it is true. He has kind of been blackballed and pushed out by the industry, so maybe that's why. But no, I was about to say maybe that's why you don't see as much news about stuff he does. But even on YouTube, when content creators, they don't work for the industry. Well, a lot of them don't, and they're not putting out too many videos about 6ix9ine, and him releasing song and music like that isn't as hot as it used to be, isn't as big deal it used to be, for reaction videos and things like that. So I don't know. I think that I think in the long run, the snitch thing may have hurt him. I think he trying to act like it hasn't, but I think in the long run it has. And we no longer really trip off what 6ix9ine does anymore as much. Like, I'll go tune in to look and see what he's talking about, and it's kind of more the same thing. He's kind of holding on to this snitch thing. And that was pretty much, if you want to find something that the podcast episode was about, it's pretty much just about that again, him defending his snitching and him being questioned and him saying, so you wouldn't have done this if they did this, and you wouldn't snitch if they mess with your baby mama, if they robbed you. It's like, it's the same thing we've already heard. So I don't know. I think if he wants to stay successful, he wants to stay relevant in the minds of everybody, he needs to start singing a new tune. He needs to find a new thing to make people pay attention to him more. But, he's still doing millions for his views. Let's see if that contributes over the album sales and ticket sales if he wants to go on tour. So we'll see. Another thing that happened in the podcast, though, one particular moment was when Hassan was talking about how, us as black people, we kill each other in our neighborhoods because of we're looking at each other through the eyes of our slave masters, our former slave masters, their ancestors, and we need to get out of that mentality. One thing that kind of bothered me, and I've heard Wack say this before, is Wack pushed back on that and said, no, ain't no white man out there shooting us. We shooting each other. We keep blaming the white man for us killing each other. And I thought that was very close-minded. Of course, yes, there's no little white man out there handing you the guns or telling you to shoot nobody. Of course not. But it's the system, and I think that's a lot of times what Wack don't look at. And he loves to say, oh, well, I didn't do drugs. I didn't do this. And I was there too. Yeah, but you was a gang member, and it was all part of the system. That was the environment that you was in. And so when you insert the drugs in the community, when liquor stores are popped up and allowed all throughout the community, you have people with low-paying jobs, and then a lot of people getting arrested. When you don't have high-paying jobs, we notice in white communities too, crime goes up, but black people are arrested for a lot longer. So you have sons without their fathers who are growing up. And all anybody talk about how your father's a real one, your father's a real one, and in a way, somebody getting out of jail, they make them harder. That kind of glorifies prison, glorifies the street life, and it's all designed that way. And when you completely ignore that part of it and just be like, yo, black people, you need to do better, without acknowledging the systemic racism and how things have been set up to keep you down, you only doing yourself a disservice. You doing the disservice for those young black men and women that you want to see do better, because you so gung-ho on not trying to blame the white man, taking accountability. And yes, you should take accountability for your actions, but you still have to look at the situations that were put up in front of you, the roadblocks that were put up in front of you that entice you to make these decisions. So yes, of course, you make the final decisions on you, but what entices you to make these decisions? What are you seeing from your day-to-day life? What is exposed to you? What is presented to you? What is shoved into your community and normalized that has you, without even really thinking about it, doing things that other people who haven't been put, who haven't had to deal with those negative things in life will look at it like, what are you doing? But it's normal to you. We normalize these things, like gunshots going off, people being dead, walking by and you seeing somebody dead. These things are normalized in a community. You have us all bunched up together, low-paying jobs, low income, people on Section 8. If they try to do better, they get taken off their stuff right away, so they don't want to, they get taken off the government systems right away, so they don't want to stop doing that because they won't be able to catch up to the bills they got to pay. And, you incorporate all these substances that will make people act different, go wild, and then, with all this failure, with all this loss, you got these gangs who give you a sense of being. I mean, it's a whole system that's going on. So I think that it's really dangerous for Wack to just completely ignore that and act like, no, it's only us. And the white man and white people, the systemic racism had nothing to do with the way this has been designed to keep us down. I just think that's really ignorant, and you need to stop. We, as black people, need to stop doing that. Of course, we take accountability, responsibility for our own actions, but you have to acknowledge this. You have to acknowledge the brainwashing in a way, or the manipulation that is going on within the black community, within the poor communities, that has kept us down, has kept us, for the most part, in these negative stereotypes of killing each other, selling drugs, going to prison, staying on government assistance, all these things, right? That is done on purpose to hold us down. I truly believe that. I mean, you look at the way the system goes, you look at how they you go to prison for the same crime as a white man, you can get more time. Prisons are loaded up with black people. Crime bill was nothing more. We all say this, right? It's nothing more than arresting black people, throwing them in jail. We all say this. We all know this. So I just didn't like that. That was just a part of the interview that, and again, I've heard Wack say this before on Clubhouse. So I just think that's an ignorant way of viewing things. So Kim Kardashian's son, he was playing a video game online, and there was a joke made about his mom's sex tape. Now, luckily, he can't read. Little boy Saint, he can't read, so he didn't know what it was, but he just saw his mom's face. It was her cry face, her famous cry face. I think now she got a new famous cry face from this episode. But this was on the latest episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, their Hulu show now. And, she saw it, and I think it said something like, it showed her cry face. It was like Kim Kardashian's new sex tape is what it said. And so throughout the episode, she was like hurt, and she was ready to sue the game, and was upset that was on there, that he could see that. She's on the phone. I think that's when she was talking to Kanye, crying, because Kanye referenced that, or somebody referenced that she was called him crying about the video, or about what she saw on their son's video game. And it just goes to show you that all this stuff comes back, and this is all men have been saying to women. All this stuff comes back. You want to have this fun in your 20s, make these videos, and she knew what she was doing. She put this video out to make money. It's been pretty much established at this point that the point of this video was to make money. She wanted to be a superstar. She wanted to be, I think Ray David said she wanted to be bigger than Paris Hilton. She came forward and was willing to expose her whole body to make fame, to get big. Now, she probably didn't expect to get as big as she's gotten, and pretty much uplifted her whole family from this sex tape. But that was the point. And now you have to deal with those consequences. It's the same thing that we say to people who are like mostly porn stars. You can say kind of strippers, but you can hide that, move to another town or something. But really like porn stars, people who are on camera, OnlyFans people, this stuff lives on forever, and you don't want your kids to see this. If you get naked and you're doing all this stuff and but the reality of the world is that you're going to be exposed forever. This is on the internet. It lives forever, and it can always be shown. Your kids will have to deal with this. They will be embarrassed. They're going to be made fun of and teased. They want to play sports. People are going to say stuff. This is going to be an issue. And so many women don't think like that. What I've learned from women is that a lot of women don't think long term. They think very much in the moment. They think very much in the now. And a lot of times they get mad at men who are thinking long term. It's like, I'm just trying to have fun. I'm not trying to think about all that. But this is why we do think about those things, because we understand that there are consequences to your actions, and that you will have to face them sooner or later. So now, I remember she was talking about with North, she was scared that that North would find those things out. She'd have to have that conversation with her. Now she has 4 kids, and it's coming to the age where they're all getting grown, and this is going to be exposed to them. And I think it's very funny that Kanye was saying he didn't want his kids watching, or his kids being on social media, be exposed to a lot of things. And she was very dismissive of his, of his concerns. And now it's falling back on her with their son being exposed, even though the son didn't know what it was, but starting to be exposed to her past life, her porn. Find out that his mother's also has next to her mini list of job titles a former porn star, and one of the most successful porn stars, if not the most. I don't know the numbers of porn, who made the most money off the porn videos, but yeah. So it's kind of funny how she just pushed aside the daddy's concerns, and now it's hitting her. She's the one who's feeling it negatively, because she's the one with the dirt online that everybody knows about, and sooner or later her children are gonna know about. And she's getting scared. And you can see it. She's scared. She's crying. She's terrified. But this is what you chose to do, This is what you chose to do. And this is the bed you made. Now it's time to lie in it. And unfortunately, I feel bad for those children because they have to suffer for your decisions. But that's what it is. You built a great life for them. They're very comfortable. They will probably never experience any type of, hunger or anything negative that be sheltered for the rest of their life. And off the back of that is your porn tape, so that's gonna have to come out eventually. And I'm sorry about that, and I feel bad for it. I really do. I feel bad for it. But this was your decision ultimately. Take those consequences. I was wondering if I was even going to discuss this, only because it had been a little while since it happened, and I had noted a lot of takes on it. But I really wanted to give my 2 piece on it. So I know this may be an old topic at this point, but it's something I really have been thinking about. And that was Cam Newton. He was on $1 Million Worth of Game podcast. Shout out to Gilly. Shout out to his cousin. I can't think of his name right now. Gilly the King and Wallow. Shout out to Wallow. Sorry about that. And he was talking about his preference for a woman. And he said, he don't really like the women who call themselves, the bad bitches, boss bitches. He don't really like that because that don't really come with what he considers a woman to be a true, that's more of sort of like into yourself and like status and look, as opposed to substance is what he was trying to say. And he said for his personal preference, what he likes is what he saw from his mother and his father, a more traditional marriage. And he said, you call yourself a boss, but you don't even know how to cook, and you don't know when to be quiet, and you don't know how to let a man lead. And this is very traditional, how things would be in a marriage. So of course, a man gave his preference for a woman, so women got mad. And he was, called misogynistic, toxic, all these type of things, insecure, the usual. When men have a preference, or when men say anything, criticize a woman in any way. And I'm just, I've been listening to a bunch of people, watching a bunch of people talk, and it's really quite disgusting how you twist this into making it a negative thing when he said that's what he wants. If that's not what you want to offer a man, then guess what? You don't have to be with Cam Newton or any man that thinks like him. You can find who you want, but who he wants, this is a man worth millions of dollars. He's going to be, any woman that gets with him doesn't have to pay a single bill. They can sit down all day and relax. So yes, if he says, I want a woman that's going to cater to me because I'm giving you hit the lottery with me. You got a millionaire who you never have to worry about nothing for. You take care. I need you to take care of the house, cook. I need you to be my wife. Follow my lead. That's fair for him to want in a partner, especially when he's bringing so much to the table. And I feel like a lot of women forget that just like y'all have preferences and things y'all want in a man, especially y'all want big money men who make a lot of money and provide for you and take you on trips and give you this lavish lifestyle. Those men want things too, and they tend to want women who are more submissive. They don't want women to go back and forth with them and say that we partners. No, they want women to be like, we're a team and you're the team captain. I follow your lead and I have a say in things and I will talk and speak and voice my concerns, but I follow my husband's lead. That's what men who can really provide something for you want. Hell, that's what men want in general. But when you got a man who really can provide something for you, they're less likely to compromise with you. I think a lot of women have lost sight of that, and they lost sight of the fact that men, we can have preferences, we can have wants. All he said was what he wanted. All Cam Newton said was what he wanted. That's it. What he prefers. Y'all went crazy. He also criticized men in that too. He said that men need to start being real men and stand up and doing right things and handling their business in the right way. Stop focusing on the gram and things like that. So he had criticism for men too, but nobody wants to talk about that. They only want to talk about what he said about the women, because you can never criticize a woman. Cam Newton or any man can never criticize a woman in any way. We can never say what we want, what our preferences are. Cam Newton said what his preference was, and y'all attacked him. Men have preferences, and a lot of men do want more traditional women, and that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. What's bad is being criticized and put down and called sexist for it, because we don't want a woman who try to be our equal or yelling at us or think that they can stand up to what we do, but we have to pay all the bills. And this is the harsh truth. I'm gonna tell you right now. Y'all get mad at Cam Newton because he wants a traditional woman. But all y'all women, most of y'all women want traditional men. Y'all want a man to pay all the bills, be the provider, take out the trash, mow the lawn, all that stuff. Y'all want men with muscles who play sports and who tough can beat people. Y'all want all these things. Y'all want traditional men in some form or another. Most of the time to pay all the bills and be the provider and protector. But y'all don't want to be with traditional women. So whenever it's time for y'all to come on y'all end to be that traditional woman for this traditional man that's providing everything for y'all, all of a sudden that's not fair. It's what about equality? Y'all only care about equality when y'all on the losing end of it. But y'all love the double standard when y'all on the winning end of it. See, what I see with modern women now is all take and no give. And the give y'all give is just a little bit. Oh yeah, you pay all the bills, but we split the housework. That's crazy, right? You be the provider, but we split taking care of the child. And that's fine if you want to take care of the child and all that stuff. I'm not saying you can't do that. But stop acting like the man is bringing nothing to the table when he's literally giving you the place to live, the place to stay, lay your head at, a child to take care of him and love and be with, and all this stuff. And you want everything and are trying to negotiate giving anything. And that's ridiculous. If you ask me, in my opinion, Cam Newton did nothing wrong or said nothing wrong. So that's the show for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, getting in this whack wisdom. I do hope that you return with me next week, get a little bit more of that. And don't forget, again, if you're on YouTube, if you haven't already, to like, subscribe, comment, and hit that notification bell. Everybody on all the platforms we have for the podcast, go ahead and follow us so you get new information or new episodes when they upload. And yep, I think that's all. So this is the Whackcast podcast, and I am whacking off.
It's the Whackcast podcast. Yeah.
Talk whack to me. Talk whack to me.
Yeah.
Talk whack to me. Talk whack to me.
It's the Whackcast podcast. Yeah.
Talk whack to me. Talk whack to me.
Yeah.
Talk whack to me. Talk whack to me.